Shape of the cell. The plant and animal cells exhibit various forms and shapes. Typically, the animal cell is spherical in shape, but the shapes of the cell may be irregular, triangular, tubular, cuboidal, polygonal, cylindrical, oval, rounded, or elongated in the different animals and plants. The shape of the cells may vary from animal to animal and from organ to organ, and even the cell of the same organ may display variations in the shape, and the shape of the cell remains correlated with its function. For example, the epithelial cell have flat shape and the muscle cells are elongated. And moreover, the external or internal environment may also cause the shape variation in the cells due to the internal or mechanical stress or pressure or the surface tension. Next is size of the cell. Mostly the eukaryotic cells are microscopic in size, but definitely they are larger in size than the bacterial cells. And the size of cells varies from 1 micrometer to 175,000 micrometer. And the ostrich cells is usually considered as the largest cell, that is 175 micrometer in diameter, but certain longest nerve cells have been found to have the length of 92 centimeter to the 1.06 meters. Next is number of cells. The unicellular or acellular animals like protozoans consist of single cells, and most of the animal cells and plants have many cells in the body that are known as multicellular animals or the plants. And the number of cells in the multicellular organisms, they usually remain correlated with the size of organism, and small the size of the organisms, they have less number of cells in comparison to the large size organism. And first cell will form the tissues will form the organ, and then organ system, and then the complete organism. And here in the these all are the multicellular organisms, and these all are the unicellular. Means if we are gonna see the structure of this only amoeba, we can see that it has only the all the components of the cell within it. And then if we are looking at the paramecium, we can see that it has all the necessary component with him. And if we are going to talk about the euglena, it also has the same things in common. And so these are the unicellular organism, means this amoeba is unicellular, paramecium is unicellular, euglena is unicellular. And if we are talking about this only multicellular organism has organ system that is consisted of organs, and that organ is constituted by the tissues, and tissues are formed by the cell. So this long chain will produce the structure of human. And here amoeba has its own structure, paramecium has its own structure, and euglena has its own structure. Means a single cell have all the components that are required for the human body, for the body. So it is independent, and it is these unicellular organisms are independent, and the multicellular organisms are dependent on the cells to form the tissues, and then organs are dependent on the tissues to form organ, and then organ systems are dependent on the organs to form the organ system, and then organ system will constitute the complete structure of an organism. So let's talk about the difference between the unicellular and difference between the multicellular. Unicellular and multicellular. In the unicellular organisms, they are composed of single cell, and they are multicellular are composed of more than one cells. And unicellular, they have simple body organization. See, they have very simple body organization, and as multicellular organism, they have complex body of organism. They have cells, tissues, organs, organ system, means a complex structures we can see. And if we are gonna study in detail about the organism, this structure, we will see much more details about it. And then unicellular organism, Unicellular organism, a single cell carries out all the necessary life processes. See here the all the necessary. Now let's talk about the difference between the unicellular and multicellular organism. These are the unicellular organism, these are the multicellular organism. So first point in the unicellular is that unicellular organisms are composed of single cell and multicellular organisms are composed of more than one cell. Means more than one cell, different cells will combine to form multicellular organism. Unicellular have simple body organization, and multicellular have the complex body of organization. And unicellular has a single cell carries out all the necessary life processes, and in multicellular there has the multiple cells perform the different functions. And unicellular, a total body of the cell is exposed to the environment, and this outer cell are exposed to the environment. And in unicellular organism, division of labor is at the organelle level, and in the division of labor is at the cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and organ system level. And in the unicellular organism, they include both eukaryotes and prokaryotes, and multicellular only includes the eukaryotes. And a lifespan of a unicellular organism is usually short, whereas the multicellular organisms has a comparatively longer lifespan. And if injury to the cell leads to the death of an organism in the unicellular, and injury to a cell does not cause the death of the multicellular organism. Just see yourself that if you are getting injured from one part of your body, you will not die, because you can be cured, you can be after that you will not die, because you can cure that, you can regenerate that part. So injury to the cell or the single part does not cause the death of the in case of multicellular organism, but in case of unicellular organism, they can be died because they are completely exposed to the environment. And next is asexual reproduction is predominant over, however the sexual reproduction is also seen. Asexual reproduction is dominant, and conjugation we can see in the bacterial conjugation and mating. And in the reproduction it happens in sexually as well as asexually in case of multicellular organisms. And cell differentiation is absent in unicellular organism, and cell differentiation is present because we can differentiate between the cell, tissues, organs, organ systems, and the organisms. So we can differentiate the cells. And in case of unicellular, they can be autotrophic or heterotrophic, means they can sometimes produce the food by their own, and then and sometimes they can be heterotrophic, they cannot prepare their food for themselves. And in case of multicellular, they also include the both autotrophs and heterotrophs. And in unicellular, they are microscopic in nature, and multicellular are always macroscopic in nature. And examples of unicellular includes bacteria, amoeba, paramecium, and yeast. And multicellular example is humans, animals, plants, birds, and insects.